What's going on, y'all? So doing another video here, pretty interesting topic. It's something that I have experience with, as a lot of you know. Title of the email, Fighting in Cambodia. Sent by a gentleman named Jimmy White. Yeah, I'll say your name, man. What's going on, dude? He says, hey, no joke, I am Jimmy. I love your videos. You're hilarious. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I am moving to Cambodia in 2 weeks and I want to compete professionally in MMA and kickboxing. I just wanted to know realistically what kind of pay I'm looking at. I know it's not much. And how often can I fight? And if I wanted a work permit to fight professionally, would it be under freelance work? Thanks. Alright, well, interesting. So, let's just talk about how to even get into fighting professionally over there. For me, when I went to Cambodia, I definitely had the ambition, I had the goal and the desire to fight. I didn't care if it was amateur, I didn't care if it was professionally, meaning that you got paid for it. I just wanted to actually step in the ring and test my skills, and not just my skills, but just test my heart and see if I could go toe to toe with another guy who was trying to knock me the fuck out. And I did it 3 times. As you all know, in my last and final fight, I fought on live television on Bayon TV in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and in the 5th and final round, I broke my right hand, and that stopped my fighting career, my very short-lived fighting career. Had I not broken my hand, I would have continued to fight probably once every week or two, probably every 2 weeks, because even after I broke my hand, I kept getting a call from this guy. His name was Che Kasol, and he kept calling me. He kept calling me after he knew I broke my hand. He's like, dude, we want you to come fight on TV again, man, because you put on a good fight. And I was like, dude, my hand's broken. It's just not worth it, because the money over there just wasn't worth it. I wasn't able to find a reliable doctor to fix my hands, and I just fell into coaching, and then shortly after, I just realized that my true passion in martial arts and fighting isn't so much fighting, it's more teaching people. It's more training and like teaching others how to do it. Like, that brings me a lot of joy and satisfaction. But this guy, he says he wants to get a couple of professional fights over there, whether it be MMA or kickboxing. So here's the route I took. Over there, I didn't really know anybody, because when I went there, I didn't know. I had no connections. I didn't know any gyms. I didn't know any trainers. I didn't have any friends or anything. So I started doing some research online, like MMA gyms in Phnom Penh, kickboxing gyms in Phnom Penh, and I found a couple, but a couple of them that were online were actually shut down. There's this really famous guy in Phnom Penh, or in Cambodia. His name is Putong, and he's he's like one of the most legendary kickboxers ever. He's like the Mike Tyson of Cambodia. And he had a gym over there, like Putong gym or whatever, but it was shut down even though they had a fucking website. I found a place called Selapak, and out of Selapak, there's a guy's name is Chandrotana, and he is the most famous Cambodian MMA fighter. And he fights in the 145-pound division over there, and at least he did when I was there. And he fights in 1FC. Nice guy, good fighter, tough guy. But from what I understand, they didn't really train fighters out of there to get fights, at least not foreign fighters. So I ended up coming across this one gym called A Fighter. It's called A Fighter, and the coach's name was Chanriek. And he's very like, you know, pretty well-known MMA coach over there. And he's actually from New York City. He's a Khmer guy from New York City, but he moved to Cambodia when he was like 16. So now he's ingrained in Cambodia, blah, 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 blah. But they changed the name to Cambodian Top Team. So when I met him, the gym was called Cambodian Top Team. And from what I know, they're still around. And I'm proud to say, I was their first foreign fighter. He only trains Khmer guys, and I was their first foreign fighter. And he got me fights. He was the only guy in Cambodia that I could find to get me fights. So I trained with him in the evenings at Cambodian Top Team, and every morning I went to Olympic Stadium to train with a guy named Rolando Rodriguez, and he's a Cuban guy, and he trained me in boxing every morning, 6 a.m., 5 days a week. And that's where I got my training from. But the guy who got me fights was based out of Cambodian top team, so you can check him out. Now, my first 2 fights were paid not very much, and some people would call them professional fights, some people wouldn't. Either way, I got paid for them. Either way, we were both trying to knock each other out. The winner of the fight would get $5, and the loser of the fight would get $2.50. Needless to say, my first 2 fights, I won $10 total because I won them both by stoppage. And it was basically in this guy's gym in the attic. He had a house, and upstairs you had to go up this little staircase. It was kind of cool, man. And he had a boxing ring. He had like the speakers and the microphone. He had punching bags and like a tiny little gym, and guys would go fight there. And I won those first 2 fights, and then I finally got a fight offer on Bayon TV. And I had to cut a lot of weight for it. Like, if you guys watched the fight, I gassed out in like the first round because I had to cut 20 pounds of fucking water, which is so unhealthy for you. I had to do it in like, it was about 3 to 4 days where I did it. It was my first time doing it, and I was just so depleted. I felt like shit. It's actually up online, like you guys can find it. And the fight ended in a draw. Now, I believe I won the fight. I did the most damage. I pushed the pace the whole time, even though I was exhausted. I landed the most significant strikes. But in Cambodia, as the foreigner, I didn't knock them out, so they gave it a draw. Whatever, man. It's all good. So I won the equivalent of $72, which took me about 3 weeks to get. Now, had I won the fight, I'd have gotten about $100. So the best way to get a fight is this, man. You need to find a gym or trainer that is willing to train a foreign fighter, and you want to try to get a couple of like smaller level fights, because if you fight from a gym in Cambodia, especially as a foreigner, you are representing that gym. So like if you just get a fight from some regular gym, like for example, Cambodian top team, like I did. If you get a fight from Cambodian top team and it's your first fight, and you go in there and you act like a clown and you get knocked out or you do something stupid, then they're not going to want to put you in any more fights. But if you go in there and you win and you do well, then you can get a bigger fight like on live television like I did. You know, like I said, over there in Southeast Asia, whether it be Thailand or Cambodia, those guys are used to fighting like every week. They're used to fighting every 1 to 2 weeks, because that's how they make a living. Like that's their livelihood. So if they don't fight, then they don't eat that week. They can't feed their family. But for us Westerners, it's a bit different. So get a few small fights first. Win. Don't lose. Don't get knocked out or get your ass kicked or whatever. Win, hopefully by knockout, and then you can start fighting on live TV. You can start fighting on Bayon TV. CTV, you could, SEA TV. There's all kinds of different TV stations down there that host fights, and obviously, like the more famous you are, the more well known you are, the more money you can make. But it's still not going to be more than like $100, even if you're winning, man. So find a trainer who is willing to give you fights, and be ready to fight every couple weeks, because I had 3 fights in a month down there, and in 1 month I had 3 bouts, and had I not broken my hand, I'd have kept that going. And my goal was to become a champion down there, was to like be a champion of some kind. It didn't work out for me that way, and that's okay with me. I became a teacher, and I'm very, very happy, and in fact to this day that's how I'm making a living. I'm a kickboxing instructor, and I fucking love it. And I would never be in the position I am had I not moved to Cambodia, got a few fights, and had those experiences, man. So anybody looking to go to Southeast Asia, whether it be Thailand or Cambodia, I suggest you do it, man. Get a few Muay Thai fights, in Thailand or Cambodia, it looks great on your resume. It's a great fucking experience, man. And there's nothing like going to the homeland of kickboxing, Southeast Asia, and actually doing it with the locals, man. It's a lot of fun, and they take it very, very seriously down there, man. So, thanks for the email, Jimmy. If you guys have any more questions about Cambodia or what it was like to be a fighter down there, or the training or anything like that, man, I fucking love talking about it. I mean, I have all kinds of stories, man. So feel free to shoot me an email, guys. nojokestriking@gmail.com. Bitches. Also hit me up on Facebook. Like and share my shit. Facebook.com/NoJokeCoward. All that is in the description box below. Everyone have a good one. Peace.